Hey, how's it going?
Yo, what's up, man?
Nothing much. Just watching Reckful stream for fun while I'm eating.
I know. He's pretty funny.
Yeah, I used to play WoW with him, so I think it's like cool that he became like a really big streamer.
Yeah, he was the shit. Like, a lot of people were like, why is this on Reddit or whatever? I was like,
hmm
because
Yeah, a
if you knew
lot
who
of
he was in WoW, seeing him
yeah.
struggle in Bronze should make you feel good about yourself.
hmm
But, I would imagine that he will probably make it pretty high once he gets the game knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, his mentality is pretty like solid. I don't say it's like perfect or anything like that. Like you definitely like he's definitely streaming for entertainment and not like pure improvement, but his mentality is like pretty strong where like he's willing to get better and knows he sucks.
Yeah,
Which is no matter how good you are, you should always here's like the general rule, like uh out of game you need to think you suck and in game you need to think you're a god.
yeah.
Like
So when
that's
you
how
go over here,
I,
replays, you're like, God damn, I'm so bad.
yeah, no, whenever I actually like I dread watching my own replays. I just don't want to do it because I'm gonna see a shit ton of mistakes and I'm like, am I really this bad? Like even games where like I go like 20-5 or something like that, and I'm like, God damn, those deaths were terrible. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
or even like, oh, my combos got sloppy and stuff like that. Like, it's just like, doesn't matter that I'm going like 20-5. Like, I still played shit.
I actually watched a Thorn video today. I just kind of reset my mentality.
No,
Uh,
no. I
he
kind of like saw the title of it, but didn't look into it.
is the gambler's mentality video,
Yeah,
where like you intentionally do stuff that you know you shouldn't do because you know that sometimes it works, and when you get away with it, you kind of get like this weird
no,
gratification feeling. And I was like, I kind of like started to have those thoughts last game. I was like, no, fuck it. Like I'm just gonna chill out
no.
here and farm and wait for somebody to throw me some gold because there's nothing I can do for that lane. Because Jinx is like 0-6 at the time, and we ended up
Oh
winning
yeah,
the game.
yeah. I don't know. Like, she never gets like in my games. Like, she ends up 0-6 in laning, and then like continues to feed throughout the game.
Yeah. Well,
But
I
the
mean,
thing that happens in lower rated games, and sometimes it accidentally happens in like low masters and higher diamond, is that the Jinx ends up getting a lot of CS. And then when Jinx hits 3 items, it doesn't matter what her score is, she might clean up a team fight if you're slow.
yeah,
So what ends up happening is she farms, she keeps her CS up, she's 0-6. You think she's not, you think, oh, it's an 0-6 Jinx, I don't have to focus her, and then you realize that she has, IE, Runans, and Rapid Fire Cannon, and then she crits someone to death, gets the reset, cleans up the team fight, and now she's a 3-6 Jinx, and then completes her fourth item, and now you're
yeah.
like, shit.
And then and if she lives through a team fight, even if she's the
She
only one left
cleans your
alive, she
base.
will fucking destroy. She will get so much objective gold.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
cleans your base up, so it's just she's one of those champions that like can clean up. She reminds me a little bit like Akali, where like Akali shouldn't be able to get away with her shit early game. She shouldn't be able to get away with having like no wave clear and stuff like that. But invariably, she feeds, she falls behind on CS. You do a really poor dive. Akali ends up randomly picking up a triple kill in a team fight. Now she's back in the game and she's scary.
Yep.
There are
Yeah.
some champions like that in the game that no matter how far behind they are, they have a chance to come back in. Champions like Jinx, Akali, most notably reset champions.
Yeah. Reset champions and hyperscaling champions.
Yeah, some hyperscalers. It's mostly reset champions and champions with like high base damage. Just for example, an 0-6 Fizz will still one-shot you if Fish lands.
Yeah. That's
An
true.
0-6 Talon's still gonna one-shot you if he lands his full combo. Like, there are certain champions in the game that don't require CS, and they're always a threat. But the thing is that when they fall behind on gold, they don't get their utility items.
Right. So they can't like one shot you and then Zanya's and then E back out or whatever in
Yeah,
Fizz's case.
exactly. So as long as you're like careful and kill them on the way in, then like it's fine. Or like for example, like if you're actually just diligent enough to actually kill the Jinx when she's 0-6, even
Yep. Uh, which game do you want to watch today?
let's see here. Let's go over your games. Let's grab one win, one loss.
see.
I want to go over their latest game, the 11-3 one. Is that a good game to go over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the game I just played, and that I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just have to be really patient and just wait for them to
Okay,
throw me
so
the
I'll watch
game.
that, and then why either watch the 6-5 or the 10-10.
10 and 10 is the one where Jin like randomly came to my lane at level 3 and
Okay,
fucking
so let's
yeah.
not watch that one. Let's watch the 6-5 one then.
Nope.
How was that one?
I think
Hmm?
that's the one where everybody went AFK and stayed in base.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had a bad luck streak.
Okay, yeah, games like that happen, unfortunately.
8 and 10? Which one was this? I don't even remember that one. Was it yesterday? Oh, this is the game where Graves just went off and I was trying to get us back in the game. I just couldn't do it. And I built wrong. I think we watched this game. Yeah, we watched that game already.
Which one?
We can go over 10 and 10. Like, my early game just got fucked, but
Yeah, we'll watch over it, and then we'll see. We'll
there's
see how it
definitely
goes.
stuff to learn from it. It's
Yeah.
not, I don't think it's a wash. Even though watching it's probably going to tilt me.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, so like the thing about it is that like the wash games tilt you, and like wash games are actually they're kind of annoying. But the thing about it is like, for me, because it's a wash, I can just call it a wash game, try and pick up what I can from my laning phase specifically, and then move on. Like wash games happen in both directions.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they just open at 10 minutes in high challenger, and you're just like,
Alright.
and like your lane was a farm lane. Like for example, like I had a Victor game where like it was like Victor versus Syndra or something, and we just farmed. And I had I forget who. Oh, I had who was my top laner? What was his name? He was a pretty good top laner, and I forget his name. It wasn't Adrian. Anyways, he just popped off. He just went 10-0 on Aurelia at like 8 minutes, and then they opened, and it's just like,
Alright.
all right, like I can't even say like I can't say I played particularly well. I didn't play bad, right? Don't get me wrong. I didn't play bad. I had like a 10 CS lead. I controlled my lane well, did everything fine, but I can't very well say that I was the reason we won. I can't very well say that I participated in the win. You know what I mean? Like it didn't matter really how well I did as long as I didn't feed. So in that particular case, I don't really count that as I count that as a wash. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't count that as me getting like hard carried, like just because I still did my job. But it's just my job wasn't hard. My job was to just not be an 06 Nar. Yeah, like
Yeah.
and so like just know that games happen on both sides like that. So if you ever get like a wash game, just be like, okay, I'll check out my laning phase, see how I did. That's it. Just on wash games, just check your laning phase. His laning phase can always be improved, and it's also honestly just like super important to have a good laning phase. The thing about it is like in competitive play, you can get away with weak laning. Oh, am I not? I'm
Yeah,
not.
you're not.
Yeah, I always forget to do it. Okay.
Yeah, but like he came in at such an early level, he just completely.
Yeah.
I was like, oh cool, like I don't even have to lane. Like I would have. I was like, just fucking go AFK. Like if you're gonna do this, just like go sit in the base. Like at least let
Yeah.
me get something out of this game.
Exactly. So, yeah, so you can always improve your laning phase. And the thing about why I think laning is so important in solo queue, so like, yeah, there's this weird thing where laning is important, but you really win League of Legends off team fighting currently. They're like the meta is very team fight oriented right now. People will like split push and stuff like that, but I haven't seen a lot of games won purely off split pushing. I've seen people gain advantages from split pushing, but I haven't seen someone like win a game off of it. It's
Yeah.
rarely happens compared to just straight up team fighting. So I think team fighting is really important, but the thing about laning phase is that a lot of people have like weak mentalities and are easily tilted. So like by having a strong laning phase, you can both A, potentially tilt someone on the other team. Not even your own laner, but just GG noob mid laner fed open, like just have someone else on the other team who's had bad luck, just tilt off, your strong laning, or by having strong laning, you don't get that guy on your team tilting. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't
Yeah.
think. Like maybe because he sees you doing well, even if the bot lane's feeding, he keeps playing. But in a scenario where you didn't do as well, he may have said, "Oh, mid's losing, even if you're like even, right?"
Yeah.
And then bot lane's hard feeding, and he's like, "I don't want to play anymore." And now the game's over. Because when someone says, "I don't want to play anymore," it doesn't matter how far ahead you are. Like, I had a
Yeah.
game today where I was playing, playing with the girlfriend, and I was playing TF with 80 runes because that's all I have. And I had like a 40 CS lead and 2 solo kills on a gangplank at like level 8. And then my top laner just gave up on the game.
He just like AFK'd or he just fucking ran it down
Nah,
mid?
he was 30 CS at 12 minutes. He
Oh
just
yeah.
legit like gave up and said, "Oh, no one helped me," even though I ulted top twice, so I got 2 kills. But he gave up on a game that was a guaranteed win. Like my TF wouldn't lose, and I had a monstrous lead that was large in the what he that than what he was behind by. It was like equivalent in a way. So all that guy had to do was just say, "All right, I'm behind. I'm gonna just try and do my best to help this TF carry, right?"
Yep.
And a lot of people aren't able to have that mentality because it's hard to do for some people. Like it's hard to be that objective, and even I can't do it all the time. And sometimes you just get frustrated, right?
Mhm.
But the thing is that by doing well and not being that guy, you can increase your win rate by like a drastic amount. Because sometimes that guy's having a better day and he tells himself, "All right, I'm just gonna get carried this game," right?
Right.
But
What's that
if
come
you're
in?
the guy,
Come in.
yeah, but if you're the guy that just kind of like gives up because laning phase didn't go so well, then you're just gonna get a free loss. But
What's that
in
guy,
your
Adam?
mind, yeah, it's fine.
Sorry, I gotta watch my niece tomorrow.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it's just like in your mind, you told yourself, "Oh, this is a wash game. It's over."
Mhm.
When in fact the game was winnable. So like that's why like in game I never like call it a wash and I just play it out.
Yeah.
And then after the game, that's when I can reset my mentality and say, okay, it really was a wash because I tried my hardest and people just gave up.
Yeah.
That's what annoys me the most. It's just like when people
Well, that's
give
kind of
up.
how I felt about this game, the one that we're watching right now. I was like, "Fuck! Like, is this really gonna how?" I was like, "Whatever. Like, let me just play my laning phase out, and I'll try to
Yeah,
do the best that I can do." And then,
yeah,
we got. I actually said it like sarcastically to myself. I was like, "Oh, we got late game." Like,
yeah. Well, you do have
I
like game.
said- I know I said it to myself like kind of joking, and I was like, "Oh
Okay,
fuck!"
Nunu
Like, I
tried to
actually,
invade that Eve.
yeah.
Unlucky, but he's level 2. And Nunu's really bad against Evelyn because she W's the snowball.
Yeah, that's true. I was
Okay,
like,
so you push that in. You recalled there?
yeah, because I was like really worried about Eve, I guess, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like, I don't know. I just didn't want to push that far up against Fizz and Eve and like
Yeah.
stand there and harass him. So I was like, fuck it. Like, let me just take this opportunity to get a buy advantage.
Here's the thing. If you had been paying a little bit more attention, you'd have known that she wasn't gonna kill you, right? Because she just killed the Nunu. They just
Mhm.
fought each other,
Yeah.
right? So the likelihood that she would come and gank you after she just fought the Nunu in a really close fight, like that's definitely like let's watch. I want to watch that Nunu death. I want to see. Okay, so this is partly your fault. Okay, whenever you see your jungler make a play like this, you need to shove harder than what you're doing right now. Okay, so this is where you need to work with your jungler.
Mhm.
So what the Nunu's doing here is a risky play, right? And it invariably doesn't work out for him. But what could have happened is you make it so that you can turn it into a non-risky play by just playing the lane a little bit different. So naturally, what you're doing here is the proper thing to do in the 1v1, right? Slow push the lane, stack it up, then harass Fizz under tower, right?
Right.
And that would have worked perfectly fine if Nunu didn't do this, right?
Mhm.
But because Nunu's doing this, you forego your 1v1 advantage and you just push the Fizz into turret. So you let this wave stack up, or you should just be autoing it, and then you need it to crash before the Evelyn gets to the red.
Okay. So that way Fizz can't help and
Yeah,
I can. Or if Fizz does
exactly.
come help, then he loses
He
the
misses this
EXP.
massive stack wave. So right here, you should stop worrying about harassing the Fizz and just push this wave hard.
Okay.
Like right here, it should be, you should like, you see how you're stepping back here? It should be an automatic step towards here, and then you just queue right through this. You might hit Fizz, which would be great, but you're just looking to push this hard into the tower so that you can cover the Nunu for when he does this red steal. So
Okay.
Nunu does something weird. He steals the red and then stays around. Yeah, so you need to shove this hard and then start stepping towards it.
Oh, so Eve's level 3. That sucks.
Yeah, she's 3. So the difference is that you're kind of like stuck here doing this, and then she fights him. The bigger difference is you just need to, when someone goes, this is just a general rule. When you're jungler, when you see him pushing to invade, you push your wave to the tower.
Okay.
That's just a general rule, so that if anything bad happens, you're first responder, and you turn that terrible 1v1 that he did into a flash charm ignite first blood.
Yep.
So right here, again, the biggest mistake was not paying attention to what happened there. The Eve was low. Right?
Yeah, that's one of my things I'm noticing with you is like I'll look at the mini map and see what happened, but I never actually move my camera over there.
Yeah, you need to get used to snapping your camera a lot more. So one thing, I don't. Do you use F1, F2, or 3, F4
For yeah, it's bound
for
to
checking your
that
teammates?
stuff, but I don't do it that often. Like
Like
I don't do it.
the biggest thing you just need to do is when you go and see someone died like that, or like basically while you're last hitting, I would have been looking at the fight. I would have glanced at the fight and then used spacebar to just
Yeah,
go back to myself really quickly. So it's like, oh, I get the CS. There's no CS to do, no harass to do. All right, quickly move my camera over to this, hit spacebar to go back to myself. And you would have seen that Evelyn was not healthy enough to come and gank you. And then this could have been a lane decider.
yeah,
Fizz is really low on HP. He did something really dumb. A Fizz player should never get away with going Doran's no teleport. Never. This is so bad. Fizz players that do this are bad players.
yeah. You should have gone corrupting teleport
Yeah,
or
or
dark seal
corrupting ignite.
refillable.
It doesn't matter. It's just anything but the least amount of sustain possible. If you're here, he can't get any of these. If he tries to get any of them, he's liable to die.
Yeah,
Right? This was a lane minning move, just staying there, and you could have done it because Evelyn was low. So even though the Nunu fucked up, you one messed up because you didn't back him up. But even if you didn't, you needed to bully the Fizz. Like the Nunu didn't do it on purpose, but he gave you the vision to just fuck the Fizz. And now what's happened when you take this recall is you do get a buy advantage, but you gave the Fizz free CS. You gave him like I don't know 9 CS he shouldn't have gotten. It's a big deal.
yeah,
And here's the thing: you also give him a buy timing.
yep.
If you had continuously applied pressure there and maybe landed some harass, I think he should have died there.
I didn't want to like flash charm and get outplayed.
Yeah, no, I meant I think he uses. It's a relatively long cooldown. Let me
What
scroll
is it?
here.
15 seconds?
Yeah, right
I know
here.
they nerfed it. Has he used it?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
it's
7 seconds.
7 seconds. Right here, you just step up on him. You have
Yeah,
two Dorans. You have a pot rolling. You have ignite. Just boom, step up on him. Yeah, you step back here. You have all your CDs but charm. But just basically all you had to do is walk up and WQ him.
yeah, yep.
So his E comes up now, but the biggest thing was just not realizing that he had burned his E and that you had Doran's on him. Like,
Yeah, I
so
could have ran him down, or at
yeah,
least bonus
this
flash.
is something else that you need to start doing is really paying attention to when people want to recall and stopping it. Right here, you need to step past the wave like this, and then Q backwards for the CS as you're chasing him.
Okay.
All right. The reason for this is you want to make him take as long as possible to recall,
So he
so
can
that he
move.
loses the maximum amount of minions. Because you know he has to recall here, right?
Yep.
Like at this point in time, there's no doubt in your mind that he will recall. And guess what? If he doesn't, you're not liable to die to a gank either, because he's so low you'll cross kill,
Yeah.
right? As long as you flash his E, which is really easy to do. So like right here, instead of walking back to the minions, it's fine to kind of like bait it like this, right? To like let him get a couple seconds on the recall, but boom, this is the one step too far. This is when you should be walking past the wave, and then this melee right here, you kill that with a Q.
Okay.
Right? So you don't want to miss CS to stop a recall, like that's just, unless it's like really important. I'd say the
Yeah.
maximum amount of CS you should miss to stop a recall is 2.
Okay.
So right here, you see how he's like recalling like this? This should never be allowed. This is a super greedy recall. He's totally in range to get autoed or queued. What he should have to do, what you should force him to do is recall all the way back here.
Okay.
You shouldn't allow him, and you're not even shoving that hard right now, right? Like you just kind of gave him the recall and then didn't hard shove the minions into tower.
Yep.
And bam. So let's see how many misses. One, two, two. He missed 2 minions when you pretty much could have denied this whole wave.
Right. He
Like
just
that whole
denies
wave should have
himself, I
been.
guess.
He denies himself off a roam attempt onto the Jinx here. You bait her, and then he kills her.
It's the cross kill.
Yeah, it's just a cross kill. But you had to burn summoners, well he didn't, and your room.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right there, definitely recall timing for you. You just need to hit it right away. There we go. And then here's the thing. So now he somehow forced you out of lane when you had, you had the pressure.
Yep.
So I think that's two instances where you should have made him miss a stacked wave just off the pressure, and then he instead got it.
Right.
So right now you're even in CS with this Fizz, but you should, like, the way you played the lane and the harass and the wave control that you had, he should be down 20 CS. Like, he should actually be down 20 CS.
Yeah, and that comes from like shitty map awareness.
Yeah, so one, not knowing the Fizz, and then two, it was not paying attention to his E for the all-in, or at least just the poke, but then not stopping his recall was a big deal. Or at least not knowing that basically as soon as you see him that low at level 5 like that, right? You make the decision about whether or not you plan to... Did you accidentally put a point into E here? I think you did.
Yeah, I think so. No,
Okay.
I did it on purpose. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely put it on purpose. It wasn't an accident.
Okay. But yeah, so basically you have two options. One option is to walk past the wave and stop his recall. That's just one option. The second option is to shove the wave so fast that you make him feel like he needs to stay, otherwise he misses too much. Does
Right.
that make sense, right? So there's only two options, and both of them punish him for attempting to recall, right?
Right. Yes.
But the way you did it, you kind of like didn't do either. You let him recall without shoving the wave quickly. So he got to come back, and he only missed 2 minions for literally just fucking up really badly. Nice harass.
I'm just like really hesitant to commit onto him because
You
you
didn't have
know,
to commit there.
yeah. So I misplayed that pretty poorly.
Yeah, you let him walk up to you
Yeah.
into melee range. What's on you?
And then I got my charge canceled, so I had to use two here instead of being
Yeah.
able to. Yeah.
So the way you play that, by the way, is if you're playing against a Fizz, you charge once before it goes off.
So
So
I
right
don't.
here.
I don't. I would have had to like anticipate it. Like there's no. I don't think I
No,
could
no,
have
no,
dodged
not dodging it. Like if you get hit by the fish for whatever reason, at the 2 second mark, you dash here. The reason for
Okay.
this is because it makes it so that after his E lands, he can't auto attack you. If that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
So like you would have had one dash at distance and been over here when he E's, right?
Mhm.
And then when you come up from the knockup, you can then R away, and he doesn't get this auto attack. That one.
Right.
That one doesn't land. And the thing is that you got lucky and lived with 13 HP, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Just maybe he runs a different rune setup. Maybe he runs mix pen and you die there, right? Like who knows?
Yep.
But the thing is that yeah, just generally speaking, when you're playing against Fizz, ulti charge once at the 2 second mark if the fish lands you.
Yep. The other thing, I ran MR runes here and I still built proto belt, so I don't know if that was. I think my MR runes might actually have. No, they don't have skin. No, yeah, they do that because it's not full MR anymore. No, it's got scaling AP. It doesn't have CDR. Just kidding.
Yeah, I would never run MR on Ari.
Even against
It's-
Fizz.
Yeah. Well, what are you worried about with Fizz? Just dodge.
Fair enough.
It seems silly, but he's a melee champion. You're not consistently getting hit by his harass, right? Like if you are, you're playing poorly. The only time that you're gonna need the MR is during an all-in, but if you're getting hit by Fizz, R, E, Q, won't you probably die anyways? Like generally speaking.
Yeah, if I get hit by R, I'm pretty much dead. He has
Yeah.
Ignite.
All right.
Or if
So
he's ahead.
yeah. So now the amount of MR that a Negatron cloak gives that makes a difference. But note that the flat MR runes are 13.
Yeah.
Right. So let's kind of watch how this plays out. So you go for this room. What summoners did they have? 0. Okay, so this is good. So this was a good roam. That was an
Unnecessary.
unnecessary flash. Yeah, you do this a little bit.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, Draven totally gets knocked up here.
Yeah.
All you needed to do was R forward and Q through them both, and then R again in this direction.
Yep.
You didn't even need to use Charm to kill either one of them.
Yeah.
Right, so you just go for the Draven. Bam.
Alright. Spirit
And then
Rush
you
back.
are out. Weird. So normally if you had Charm still here, which is what should have happened, you would R kind of in this direction, right? Just kind of laterally, and then Charm her back.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are out for a really weird reason. You're definitely safe.
This is actually probably like one of my better. Like I was autopiloting pretty much this game. Like I
Yeah.
don't. I
So
felt
you go back in,
autopiloting.
and then you get hit by a tower,
Yeah, hit by
and
the
then
tower.
you know the Fizz is coming. Like you
Yeah.
actually know this. So not only do you see him on a ward, I believe your Nunu pings him. Yeah, Nunu pings him. So you saw him coming down on the ward. Then you see him coming down again because Nunu sees him, and then there's like no reaction from you at all. It should be directly moving to the right.
Yeah.
And then also, you wasted Flash, so if you still had Flash in this scenario, he's probably gonna come in and try and one-shot the Jinx. He won't kill you if you have Flash. Right, so right there you could flash out a Q.
Yeah, because if I had flash up, I would have flashed his ultimate. But
Yeah,
like
it
I
would
saw
flash
the
his
ultimate before I saw
Yeah.
the fizz, even though the Nunu pinged him. Like I'm not.
Yeah, you're just not paying attention.
Yeah.
And then Evelyn comes in. Unfortunately, Nunu does nothing.
Yeah.
Useless champion.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Like Nunu it's
Avalanche
Worlds
is
time
awful.
again, and people are playing Nunu.
Yeah. I don't know why.
It's like they'll find a reason to play Corki next patch.
Corki's busted. They always gotta buff Corki whenever Worlds comes around.
Yeah.
I've been trolling around on Corki. I go, Triforce, Gunblade, Duskblade. It's a genius build, okay? Quote me on that one. Because what you do is, you package in, right? And then you
Yeah.
hit them with the Gunblade slow, and then you land all your you land all your missiles and shit, and then the Duskblade executes them, and it's mixed damage. You got the AD and the AP, right?
I don't even know what to do when people play mixed damage champions. I'm like, how do I itemize against you?
Oh yeah.
You just
well,
don't.
technically, the rule of thumb is for mixed damage you build health, like flat health.
Oh man, I just learned something today. Other than all the other shit I learned.
Oh yeah. Generally, so like mixed damage and true damage get countered by flat health.
I think I
It's
died
the same
here.
concept because you can't itemize armor. So you don't go for any pure armor items when you're up against mix. You build at least an armor item that has health or an MR item that has health. I think all the MR items have health.
Do I have Proto Belt here? Oh no, I just hit the
Ah.
charm.
No, you don't have Proto Belt. You just have the Abyssal, which is fine because the what is it? Yeah, because it's magic damage mid and magic damage jungler, and they both kind of popped off a little bit. Why did she stop? She lived. She was alive,
Just
and
tilted,
then
man.
she trolled.
Yeah.
She was alive, and this Vel'Koz is on point with his
He's a big reason why we won the game.
Yeah, he's on point with his stuns. I don't like his build, but this guy hits the clutch stuns. For sure. He definitely passed geometry. Poor Vel'Koz. She did that really well. I don't know.
It was funny. He laughed about it. He's like, "Oh, I knew that was gonna happen."
Yeah. Evelyn, please. Up and boom.
Yeah, and then I came back because I knew she was gonna try to do this. I was like, let me just go walk by Jinx and kill Evelyn real quick.
Evelyn didn't open with ultimate, so
My
that's
200
on.
IQ, autopilot.
Damn right.
I'm not even paying attention this game, and I'm just like,
So split pushing like that is fine, right?
hmm
But you definitely want to be grouped for this particular game. There's no reason for you to extended split. One, because you might die to Evelyn. Two, because your team comp was, it's like it's a protect the Jinx comp.
yeah, I fucked this up here.
Uh,
I
yeah.
didn't hit ignite. Like
Among,
I
among
just
other
fucking
things.
derped. I derped so hard.
Yeah. Okay. So let's watch this. I don't think you have ignite, so
Hmm?
you're okay on
Oh
that.
no. Oh yeah, it was up after the fight was over.
All right. So
This
one is UQ
fizz.
really weird.
Yeah, like my camera was like fucking off to the left or some shit.
And you don't auto attack.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is you didn't auto.
hmm There's a million things wrong with that.
Yeah. So right here it should have been RWQ, and it should have just been a Q auto here, and he should die.
Yep.
But no auto attack. Yeah, you
And
never
shit.
got the auto off.
Yeah. We don't
That
need
was
to.
the biggest thing.
We don't need to beat this one up. I just went full retard when I went in. That was one of the ones where like I went in and I was like, "What am I doing? I can't see anything. I don't even know
Uh,
what's happening right now." But they do all kinds of silly shit and they end up paying for it.
what?
You ready for this? Boom.
Okay, just get hit in the shutdown money to Jinx. That's a big deal. That Triforce buy was a big thrill.
Who bought a Triforce? Oh,
I
Eve?
don't know.
Shouldn't she
Yeah,
have gotten a Lich Bane?
yeah, yeah. Oh, what? Did Fizz just decide not to E?
Yeah, I
Okay,
think so. I don't know. Like, I was just like, whatever.
all right. I guess he didn't expect the burst or something.
Yeah. I'm actually doing, like, despite how I feel, I'm actually doing pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, so you did the belt charm. I like that. It's pretty effective.
I love the belt. After
Yeah.
using
Belt.
the damage
Yeah,
is
it's good.
stupid.
Yeah, that's good.
It's fucking broken.
The thing about it is like the item like seems like okay on paper, and then you just underestimate the utility of the belt, like the active. The active is what makes it go beyond OP in terms of value. I even go belt Kassadin now.
Belt got me that kill.
Yeah, belt's good. We're playing these fights pretty well.
Yeah. This is definitely one of my best autopilot games ever. Like, I told you, like, I'm not even fucking paying attention.
Yeah, that's definitely one of your biggest problems. My girlfriend has the same one,
Yeah.
actually, when she plays.
It's like brain lag. I don't fucking know.
It's not really brain lag. It's just a lack of like focus or knowing when to focus. So it's like here's the thing: like you can't have like maximum focus for an entire game. It's actually impossible. You can probably only hold maximum focus for like I don't know, like 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is knowing when you have to focus and then kind of going through that. So when team fights start, like or when team fights are about to start, you need to start thinking about all right, how are these going to go down? What do I need to dodge? Who's the priority? What am I looking to do here? Am I flanking? So let's watch this. So he uses E. That should be an automatic all in
Charm.
for you. No, it shouldn't even be an automatic charm. It should just straight up just busted him open. So just all
Okay.
So like this is something that kind of like I did in that one game where I snowballed. When you're like particularly fed and someone does something like this is the advantage of Ari compared to a lot of other champions. You go in here and you just RWQ the Fizz, right?
Mhm.
And then dodge whatever Leona throws at you. And then guess what? If other people come by and it's like not a good fight, just leave.
Yep.
Like that's the advantage of playing Ari. Like when you go for your all-in pick attempt, it's you can just choose to leave if it fails. Like Fizz doesn't have his E out. Your whole team's behind you.
Mhm.
You're just free to just try and go ham there. So nice. So you focus the Fizz down. Next up should be oh, wrong target.
Wait, 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 wait.
There you go.
Bam.
Went for Evelyn. This is good.
Draven flashes forward,
And it's
and
nothing.
yeah. And then he hits a really nice stand aside, which wins them the fight. Because QSS.
Jax autoed a minion, and then got one
Oh,
hit. It didn't. That auto didn't really make too much of a difference, but
yeah. He got stunned and Draven QSS.
yeah.
And then I
Okay,
just
so
get ran down by Renekton.
yeah, you get Renektoned.
Yeah, 2 more seconds I would have had Proto built up.
Yeah, Proto Belt and Flash came up in too, so it's just a little bit unfortunate. Can't say you played it particularly poorly. Just barely didn't have anything. Jinx, stop using rockets.
Too close for rockets, switch to guns.
Oh yeah, seriously, that was scary.
This Vel'Koz is a man.
Hits him with the slow. Alright, so Jinx comes back. This is what I'm talking about with Jinx. People will give her random kills off of snipes, and then she picks up. I don't know why she's going into BT. Did she try and open up on Vel'Koz? Vel'Koz is too tanky to die now. I hope she knows that. He's like
Nah.
the tankiest member of your team right now.
That build's kind of crazy. I guess it works really well because of his true damage kit.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he pops a shield, and then I'm like, hey, what's up?
yeah.
I guess I
That
could
was
have just R'd, but I felt like Flash was
Yeah,
more
should've just
secure. I'm really like apprehensive to just R into shit
Here's the thing.
because I kind of like tried to
Whenever
break
it's
that
a
habit,
play
and
that's
I
going
went
to
to
net you a big objective, it's okay to do that. So, for example, if you just wanted to secure that kill and then go and pick up the Baron, then that's perfectly fine, right? You totally, if you're keeping track of Flash, you know, if you had like maximum knowledge, would have known that R was enough there. But at the end of the day, like that Flash charm or the kill on Evelyn nets you a Baron, so
it ends up
that's cool.
worth it.
Yeah, it's fine that if you burn Flash for a kill on their Fed champion plus Baron. Now Jax fucks your team.
Proto belt, bam.
Yeah, that's the R belt. Yeah. Okay, so the other team fucks up. So
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm out. I don't have any mana. And then this happens.
yeah, you get enough mana for your R here, I believe.
Yeah. Something hits him and does tons of damage. I think it's probably Vel'Koz.
Yeah, Vel'Koz right there.
Oh
his
my God.
his passive procs right there. So you just go
Yeah.
in, and then here's the thing about Belt. Each individual rocket of the belt counts towards Thunderlords, so Belt by itself procs Thunderlords.
That's dirty.
Oh yeah. So right there, you get the belt, and the R. This is a really good charm, by the way. This kind of like secures up the objective. And then from here, you guys should be able to just come back because your team fight is significantly better than theirs, and Evelyn did a really fucking weird build.
Mhm.
AD Evelyn isn't bad, but you need to keep building AD, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you can't go like Triforce Rylai's. You gotta go
Yeah,
like
Triforce
Warrior.
Rallies is some weird ass utility 1v1 build that doesn't really do anything because if you had built AP with the Rallies, you'd have killed someone 1v1, and if you had built like let's say Dustblade instead of the Rallies, you'd have killed someone 1v1. Funny enough, whenever I go full AP Eve, I sell my boots for Dustblade in the late game.
Nice. And
Yeah.
Eve suicides to kill Nunu.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the Nunu is a valuable member of your team.
Yeah, he's doing a lot this game.
Yeah, so right here, you don't really need, like I said, you don't really need Void.
Yeah,
even
that's what I
to have
noticed.
MR.
It-
Because, again, Ari has true damage, and when you're getting, like, the double pen items, then and plus, like, a death cap in this scenario, then it's, like, perfectly acceptable. Now, for instance, if they had more squishy members on the team, then you would want Ludens over the death cap, just for base damage purposes, right?
Mhm.
But because they have a kind of like a tankier team, then it's better to have. And there's no one to one shot. Like there's no like Soraka or Jinx, you know what I mean, on the other team to just completely one shot. So if you noticed when I did this build, I had a Ludens before death cap, but that's just because I had a couple of squishy members. I think it was Vel'Koz and Vayne that I could just one hit. But so in this particular case, it was better to get the death cap into Void.
Yeah, I don't even think I end up getting Void this game because of how it plays out. Like we pushed
I
by
would
with Baron and
definitely
they
get
just
Void next. Just
Oh,
for-
yeah, I was going to, but
yeah.
we end up making this pick right here and it's
Yeah, I think the
GG.
game ends. Yeah. Okay. So, like I
Oh,
said,
they
you
just keep
didn't
walking into shit.
like you didn't do anything too fancy this game, which is good. You just kind of made like the nice, easy plays. But the early game is when you could have had like a much larger impact with your laning.
Mhm.
I think in this particular replay, the thing you need to take back is paying more attention to recall timings of your opponent, not necessarily yours, and playing to that.
Right.
So, you know, the missed all-in timings, whatever, like sometimes, you know, you just miss an opportunity to go in just due to the unknowns of the game, right? But the biggest thing was the recalls. Um, Not knowing that Evelyn wasn't going to be able to gank you and kill you cost you a massive, like, pretty much insurmountable lane advantage. So, like, if we scroll back, like, the reason why you can't do this on Fizz and why you can't go ring 2 pots is because that scenario that just happened will happen to Fizz, and then he'll just lose all his HP. So we'll kind of like watch this again because I feel like it's the most important part of this game.
Okay.
So again, you should know that the Eve is or the Eve can't gank you,
Right.
and then you poke him down. You do a good job poking him down, and then let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 minions. You're not gonna be able to deny them all, but you should definitely be able to deny like 6 of them.
Right. Or at least
No,
kill
you should
him
be able-
or.
yeah, you should be able to deny 6 of them because, yeah, he'll just take too much damage from trying to get them. And right there, when he loses all his HP, loses those minions, and then guess what? He'll have to lose the next wave too.
Yeah.
Because he's too low, so he'll lose the next wave as well. Thus, giving you pretty much you'll end up with like double Doran's Negatron, or you'll end up with double Doran's
No magic.
Null Magic versus his no Doran's. Like I don't think you'd have enough CS if I kind of scroll back to before.
Yeah. One thing I stopped doing a lot is going Dark Seal because Double Doran seems to, well, I think it's because I started doing different builds and
Yeah,
I felt
when
like
you
I
have
needed the mana.
Morellos, you can get away with Dark Seal, right? But when you're going no Morellos, you can't get away with Dark Seal as often. That's just double Doran's on RA just works a lot better. Just let me check the gold real quick. So yeah, so he'll have just barely enough to grab a Doran's ring. So you'll have a Doran's plus an all magic versus his Doran's, and that should be plus an XP advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And then that should net you pretty much a lane win at that point, because the null magic means that you shouldn't even be scared of dying to Eve, and you'll hit 6 first,
Yep.
right?
'Cause you have
And
the
you don't
XP
have to worry
advantage.
about Fizz all ending you either, because
Be
you know
level
you're
5.
just straight up stronger than him.
Yeah.
You'll be a level up with a null magic mantle. So that'll make a big difference. And then here, this is when that same thing should happen, where he misses another wave. Right, so he should miss one. This like you should cancel this. Like I would cancel it, but let's say you just choose not to. You know, because he recalls in a safe place, then he should miss all of this. All of this should be gone.
Yeah, which is like 10 minions or something.
And then you can either roam bottom or recall. That's like your choice, but
I think
yeah,
I started to go bot here and I was like, oh, I'm level 5, fuck it. Oh no, this is the bait thing, right?
yeah, this is the big thing. So then, you know, you would have recalled maybe if you see us a little better, or you know, maybe if the wave control is better earlier in the lane, you have. Oh, actually, you would have recalled and gotten null magic or finished your Negatron cloak regardless, right?
Yeah.
Because we had a null magic right here. So, you would end up recalling, and then he wouldn't have enough. Yeah, he doesn't have any money right now.
Yeah.
So he didn't get a Doran's. Okay, so his recall would be he'd still just have a Doran. So he'd have double Doran's boots versus your double Doran's Negatron, and then you'd be a level up on him,
Right.
or like a level and a half. That's how this lane should be, and then he should be down. I think approximately like 18 CS. So note that you should have like an absurd lead on him.
Yeah.
Right, so let's just grab the next one real quick, and we're gonna look at the laning phase again, because that was the important part, or just the early game.
Yeah. It goes in cycles. My early game gets better, then I start thinking about late game, and then I start failing
Yeah.
early game.
I mean, it happens. That kind of stuff happens to me too, or my laning phase gets really sloppy when I stop paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Right now, my team fighting's super sloppy. I just don't
see-
even care.
My team fight in that game wasn't terrible. It wasn't
Yeah, it wasn't-
optimal, but it was meh.
It was pretty good near the end. Your like mid game was terrible.
I think it's because my mentality changed.
Yeah. When your mentality changed, your team fighting got better, but when it was bad, Like at the beginning, it was like your skirmishing and team fighting was pretty lackluster. Just your general early game was lackluster there, but you brought it back and made some nice plays.
Yeah, well, it's because
Uh,
I was like, fuck. I was like, here we go again, and then shit turned to
Brand. I hate this matchup.
yeah. And I like
This
one
is
of the other things
but
that pissed me off is because I felt like the laning phase is going really well for it being a brand matchup, and then this dude just completely fucks me.
yeah, did he just not want to lane bottom? Is that what happened?
I don't even know. I think Janna died. Like nothing even really happened. He's like, fuck this, and he just comes mid.
John gets chunked to level 1 really hard. And they get bullied a little bit. But like Jin Janna doesn't beat Soraka Lucian as far as I know.
Yeah, and then
Right, yeah, so it's doing good. He's not bullying you. He's poking him pretty decently.
wave resets, and like life's good. Jin dies.
Yeah, you know Pantheon isn't gonna gank you because he was just doing shit at top. Oh, okay, she dies for free. Off recalling. In a really bad way, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
And then
that's
Jin just passed to mid instead of grabbing the bot farm. Okay. Yeah, did you stop the type to him?
yeah. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Go back to
Yeah,
bot.
one thing you need to stop doing is don't ever type like that. If someone ever does this, you just play the game. Like, you just play it. Just, just play the game out. Don't type to him. Just, like, if there's any chance of him coming back to the game, it's by, like, not aggravating him. Right? Like, you're not, like, someone who's gone mid for no reason off someone just dying in lane. You know what I mean? Like, they're not a reasonable person, so why are you trying to reason with them?
Yeah,
Right? Like, that makes no sense. So of course that death, that was kind of bad. You didn't expect their damage, of course, because Lucian just randomly has a BF at 6 minutes, but definitely got a little bit greedy when the charm landed.
yeah. Plus, I
Yeah,
was
I see you
like,
typing in all chat. Like at this point in time, like when you're typing in all chat trying to like play to the other team, like that's when you're not concentrating on trying to win. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
no.
you need to really like cut out the chit chat.
Yeah, I usually mute everyone, and like the only reason my all chat's even on for this game is because I played a custom game, and I like turned it on to BS with people, like friends and shit, and then I was like, oh fuck it, just like fucking.
All right, so let's watch this all in.
Instead of dodging everything, I got hit by everything.
This message isn't for you. Miss you too. But yeah, so let's watch this. Let's watch this all in. But yeah, so one thing is again, for you, the biggest thing is again like focus and mentality. That's what kind of causes you to play sloppy.
Yeah,
So again, don't if someone's like doing something really really dumb, like in feeding or doing like that weird shit where he just walks and makes these mad at spot lane, don't respond to it. Just you can either just insta mute the Jin, right, and then just play the game out.
yeah,
And then again, don't rage all type to the other team. The only thing you should ever type to the other team is shit like get wrecked. Like only stuff that breaks morale of the other team, not stuff that breaks the morale of your team. Because not only are you distracted by AK like typing and saying, "Oh, report this," again, and that brings your morale down because you're already talking about the end of the game to report some dude. Right? You
uh-huh.
never report people when you win, generally speaking. So you're already having like a losing mentality when you do that, but you cause the rest of your team to have a losing mentality because they're reading you saying that shit and they're like, yeah, he's right, and then they stop focusing on trying to win, and just focusing on unlucky Jin washed game, right? So you're gonna lose a lot of games just by randomly chit chatting like that. You see this Mordekaiser, he knows what's up. He's just BMing the shit out of you guys. And that's like that can be effective. So yeah, you can
Yeah,
dodge the stun. Okay, so here's the biggest mistake you did. He hits you with the E, and then you all in. Just wait for the E to drop, and then all in.
yeah. I thought the E was the Q.
Yeah.
Like
So
obviously, I'm not thinking clearly.
yeah. So you are here, which is fine. I think you are a little bit too close to him.
Yeah, it makes the stun too easy to hit.
Yeah. And in this particular case, if you're gonna all in like that, this is fine actually. Like going in on this should still be a kill. commit your flash to dodging the stun,
Okay.
right? So the thing about this is like a perfect scenario for you because if the stun doesn't land, you're not going to die because you're not going to get hit by the pillar of flame. There are no minions for his ultimate to rando bounce on you and kill you.
Right.
You will win this 1v1 if the stun doesn't land.
Mm-hmm.
So all you need to do is R4 at him like you did, and then commit your flash to dodging the stun. And this should already just be planned out in your mind when playing against a brand that, hey, the next time you play against brand, you see this scenario, just say to yourself, I'm going to flash the stun. Because if you flash the stun, it doesn't matter that you burn flash, because how is he going to burn flash to get away from you?
He can't. There's nothing he can do.
He can't. It's over. You're going to use 2 dashes to keep up with him, and one stun and Pillar of Flame is missed, it's over.
Yeah.
Right. So as soon as that lands, this is when he's going to be able to proc his passive, right? Procking the passive is important, and he hits all of his abilities. And you just barely get edged out on that all in.
Yeah.
And he landed everything. If he had just missed one ability, right?
100% win. Yeah.
So this is just not committing your flash to the all in, and it's not even a reaction speed thing. This is just something that
Premeditated.
it's a premeditated flash that is just you do.
Yeah, you just
So
do
there are
it.
other
and-
champions. Yeah, there are other champions that you do stuff like that against. Like for example, if I play Zed versus Syndra, I just R the Syndra and say I'm gonna flash the stun.
So you just R, and then as soon as you come out of R, you
Yeah.
just flash behind her.
Yeah, whenever I see the animation come off, I just flash. And it's just like because I know that if she flashes away, I use my W to keep up with her flash. Like it doesn't matter at that point. I just have to not get stunned.
Yeah. I actually did that. I played a normal game yesterday because I was bored, and I played crazy out of my mind. I mean, granted, I was against silver players, but I was like playing Ashe, and I was just like running at people, and I was like, okay, I'm in range for Morgana Q now, so I'm just gonna flash, and sure enough, I flashed Morgana Q, Varus ult, and some other shit, and wrecked all 3 of them because they didn't have anything left.
Yeah.
I was just like playing premeditated, and I was like, why can't I do this now and not when I'm playing ranked?
Mostly because you feel less stressed. A lot of the times people play better when they don't feel any pressure or stress. They can just kind of like do their thing at their own pace. When there's like stress and pressure, that's when you tend to like rush it.
Yeah.
So that's why you played better in that scenario compared to when you're playing in ranked.
Yeah.
Um,
And my mentality when I was playing that game was like totally different. I was like, I'm gonna murder these fools. Like I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
fucking ham. And if I fuck up, then fuck it.
Yeah, I mean the confidence, like I said, the confidence is the biggest thing that compared to like any other role, like a mid laner needs to just assume they're going to win. It's not like can I win? It's just an assumption that you will win mid lane.
Yeah. You kind of have to be like the fucking cock of your team and just ram it into the other team's
Yeah.
asshole.
Pretty much. I mean, like I said, I'll bring up the example of my game yesterday, right? Like when I got super fed, I just rammed into the other team 1v3 and it worked. It's not because I like had that planned out. I just said I'm fed and I'm better than them. I'm just gonna all in and see what
Yeah.
happens. So like that's essentially the mentality that you need to have when you get ahead as a mid laner.
Yeah. You're the fucking carry, so carry.
Yeah, pretty much. Because if you're making good plays and you get all the money and you're not making the carry, like you're not making the plays that actually end the game, then that's what happens when you end up with a 14 kill, 3 death score and you didn't win. It's because you didn't put forth the money you didn't use that money to actually do anything of value. You just kept
Right.
making safe plays,
Yep.
Like that 1v3 ended the game. Now, was it like a smart decision? Not particularly, but it's the play that ended the game.
Yeah. You could have waited for a safer opportunity, but
Sure.
you're
Okay.
so fucking fed.
Yeah,
You
I
just-
just ended it. So, it is like a riskier thing to do, but that's mid lane Ari. Like when you're playing Ari, you're not Victor. Like Victor can just wait the game out.
Yeah,
And
and
say,
everybody will
like-
line up, and then he just
Yeah, and then just say
QEs.
like I'm Victor. The longer this game goes, the worse you're gonna get in terms of like team fight, and you can't win against me because I have wave clear, right?
Yep.
Playing like a playmaker like Ari, that's not you can't just sit back and do nothing to win most games. Some games like your last one, yeah, you sat back and did nothing and essentially won, but that's not most games.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a choice that game because everybody was
Yeah.
behind. I just had to fucking
Exactly.
take the safe plays and hoped that they
Yeah.
fucked up and gave us the
Yeah,
win.
so that's a good example. So I don't want you to turn into like a maniac because like you've had problems with that in the past, right? Where you just kind of like go in when it's not necessary. But it's mostly knowing that when you are that fed, that it is necessary for you to make a big play.
Yeah.
That's not one of them.
Yep. I didn't
So
see.
you,
I thought I could get that one,
okay,
and then
what's yours?
like I didn't have to do that at all. I could have just stayed here and cleared the wave. Actually, I already
Yeah,
cleared
so
the wave.
again, this is an example where you kind of like went in. There is no way this is going to work. There's a Soraka in this game,
Yeah.
and they have targeted stuns.
Yep.
You know, so that's an example of where you just wanted to stand there and wave clear, and then maybe when one person like responds, then you could try that because they're totally weak enough for you to kill them.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that wasn't a good time to make a play.
Yep.
There's no amount of like execution that would have allowed you to survive there. She just puts the silence on the ground.
And then you lose.
Yeah, and then you lose. So I just wanted to watch your early game a little bit. There wasn't anything too relevant. I think most of the things that I wanted you to pick up, at least from this lesson, was the mentality stuff, and then the early game recall timing, and
Yeah.
the importance of either blocking recalls or taking advantage of it. Because you actually won that lane. You crushed that lane and then didn't receive your reward. You just like didn't pick it up in the mail. If I'm using a really shitty analogy. But yeah, like just because you didn't use proper wave control after you kind of poked him out,
Yeah, like I won
you
the
didn't
lane.
get an
And
advantage. You just went even with him.
yeah, because I didn't
Like he
fucking.
even CS'd with you when, I mean, like when I showed you, you actually deserved a 20 CS lead
Yeah, and
and
that's.
like massive buy advantages and level and XP advantage.
Yep.
So I think that's the biggest thing you should pick up for that laning phase at the very least.
Mhm.
And then for the rest of it, just the kind of stuff that I talked about with the proper mentality you should have in the game. It should be focused on winning a lot. Where like I feel like you have a very defeatist attitude a lot of the time. Like especially when you'll like message me about how a game's going, like it shouldn't like that kind of like stuff like doesn't matter. Like I don't remember the players that are, in feeding in my games. They're just irrelevant to me. Like I'm
Yeah.
just gonna play well and sometimes I pop off like those Kha'Zix games. Like I just go 14-5. I actually ended up demoting on those games. It's kind of annoying, but whatever. Like I popped off, went huge, played well. That's great. Um, then you just keep doing that. And if you're going like 14-5 every single game, there's no way that a loss streak will continue for an extended period of time, unless you're doing something completely wrong. And that's something you can like revisit. But at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of your problems stem from again like a pretty defeatist attitude where if something goes wrong, you tend to like close up. Like again, me, like for example, like Apto or any other of the strong solo queue players would never type in all chat to report some dude, right? You can type after the game, sure. Like in the end game lobby, if even if you won and you just didn't approve of what the Jin did, report them, but never do that shit in game.
Yeah.
So like the other thing about it is just like, again, like you typed to him in team chat and told him to stop, right?
Yeah.
But like you would never do that in like a real sport. So like again, I play hockey, so like if someone does something like retarded and like didn't pass me at the right time, I don't go back to the bench and tell them, "Hey, that was a fucking shit pass." Or like you didn't like pass to me there. Like why didn't you do that? I could give him constructive criticism, but again, this is the middle of the game. If he's a good player, he'll realize he fucked up on his own, right?
Mhm.
And then and then you just keep concentrating on winning. Now, if you think that, after the game or during some downtime, that it's a good idea to let him know that, like, hey, in this particular play, you could have played it like this, right? In a way to, like, help him, then, like,
Yeah.
that's fine. Doing that kind of stuff is fine after the game, but in the game, that's a distraction,
Right.
right? Like, so, I'll give you another example. So in the LCS, if the jungler comes in and just fucking, I'll use TSM. If Svenskeren comes mid and fucking flash cocoons for Bjergsen and misses, Bjergsen doesn't spend the next 10 minutes telling him that was a shit flash cocoon. Or talking about, hey, you missed that. If you'd hit the cocoon, this play would have worked. That doesn't happen. The only thing
Yeah.
that happens is they're like, All right, my flash is down. Let me see what other play I can do on the map, right? It's just a concentration on winning.
Right.
Right, so mistakes are glossed over until after the game. You should never think about mistakes done by you or your teammates during the game because they don't help you win.
Yeah, they're irrelevant. They're in the past.
After the game is for reflection, but during the game you need to actually concentrate on the game.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's something you should definitely work on yourself because you concentrate a little bit too much about
Yeah, it's
kind of the scenario and how your teammates are doing when the only thing you should focus on is winning. And then after the game, that's when you can vent. That's when you can say, my teammates were shit.
yeah. So I spend a lot of time out of game thinking about how to improve my mentality. Then I get into game and
Yeah.
my mentality breaks super fast.
Yeah, it breaks.
But I'm like really conscious of it.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It's a very very difficult thing to change.
Yeah, I'm not
even
saying
though
it's,
I'm
it's,
conscious
it's
of it.
easy, but that's what you should strive to do. All right. So I'll definitely see you next time, and good luck in your games, man.
All right, man. Later.
Peace.
Oh, let's fucking play a match.